Hello and welcome to this Sagittarius inspired reading for August 2025. I am working with the symbolism of the tarot cards and the symbolism of Western astrology to uncover layers of consciousness, to find a new perspective, maybe to find some inspiration or some ease in your situation. I am not a fortune teller. I'm merely working with the cards as a tool for self-reflection. So let me assist you. All right, let's start. We do have a Queen of Swords, which gives me the impression of a clear perspective. She wanted to have a little cameo here. Oh, the Page of Swords, that's interesting. So we do have a Page of Swords following the Queen of Swords that wanted to peep out. So maybe we are thinking about gaining a little more clarity in a situation, learning, getting all the information. That is kind of the gap between the Page and the Queen. The Page of Swords is really the smart, the curious, and the brainy page who is willing to learn, willing to open himself up, willing to gather information. The Queen of Swords, on the other hand, is the person who works with all this information. The swords talk about everything that is mental, that is information, that is learning, that is happening in your head, also language, reading, all these kinds of things. So we really want to maybe now master or get better at some sort of specific knowledge, or we want to learn something new, or we want to really get more information about a topic. So this is a really curious, really great energy to learn and to understand and to find a better understanding. I love that. He's also looking into the past. For me, the Page of Swords is always looking into the past, also maybe trying to understand his past better, maybe trying to understand his path better, maybe trying to analyze the past also and draw conclusions. So he's really willing to draw conclusions, and he's trying to learn everything he can to do so. The Five of Pentacles in the reverse. It's funny, or not in the reverse, it's not upside or upright, and it's not in the reverse, it's crossing this Page of Swords. We want to make sure to think about what is really missing and lacking in our life and why. I think this is really the combination here with the Five of Pentacles and with the Page of Swords, because with the Five of Pentacles we are trying to understand why things have to be so hard, maybe why things have to be such a struggle, why we don't have everything we need, why it seems like a drag, you know, or why we even have people surrounding us that kind of pull us down, as we can see in this card. You know, we do have with the Five of Pentacles these two people on this card, and she's kind of carrying this victimized kid or small person after her, and it seems like a drag, or it seems like a tough journey here, and it seems like there's not enough to work with. It's also kind of a card of being left out or not being part of something. They're walking past this church window where they kind of cannot get in, they cannot get shelter. So we want to address with the Page of Swords on a more intellectual, rational level, maybe how we can change this situation, or what we learned from the past to not maybe step again into this type of situation again. It is very, very fascinating here, this combination. Oh, Ten of Wands. Yeah, he's looking back at the Ten of Wands. That makes a lot of sense to me, because he is really looking at all the responsibilities, all the things he put on his back, he was carrying on his back. So this Ten of Wands is really speaking about maybe having too much work, too much to do, taking on too much, carrying too much at the same time. The Wands speak about life energy, like forward moving life energy, very masculine, archetypical masculine energy. And with the Ten of Wands, we need to know that we, of course, sometimes have stretches that are tough, where we have to carry a lot, and that we also kind of want to test our limits, but at the same time we also do understand that this is not something that we can carry long term. These wands that he is carrying, he's only carrying them to the village in the back, and he could get help. You know, it's always kind of the point here with this card for me, that we might want to figure out how to get better at asking for help, how to get better at not taking on too much or too many responsibilities, and also especially not taking on other people's responsibilities. So I feel like there has been a moment of realization of our own limits, and how that leaves us kind of hanging in this mentality of not having enough, or feeling also a little weak. The Five of Pentacles often can also talk about the body feeling weak or some sickness, and often this is a combination where we might feel weak, or we might feel a little under the weather. It doesn't have to be like a big thing, but where we can tell like, okay, we're doing too much, and our body also feels tired. All right, subconscious, what is maybe not so clear for us right now? The Hangman in the reverse. Well, I love that, because we are already kind of freeing ourselves from a situation that has been holding us up. The Hangman, when he's upright, is a situation that we often get ourselves into without noticing, even though we might have a responsibility in it also, and we are kind of stuck by circumstances, or we cannot really change the circumstances, and therefore we have to kind of accept the circumstances. So when it's upright, then we have a good chance of freeing ourselves from a situation, from an environment, or from circumstances, or they resolve itself so we can move forward. At the same time, we have this wonderful spiritual moment here with the Hangman, where we really learn also spiritually on a deeper level, go to our limits. So how long can we last in a situation? How can we surrender? How can we even sacrifice, maybe, even though I don't like the word with this card, because in the Crowley deck this card really points to the idea that there is really no such thing as a sacrifice, because even if we are in this confined, situation, we gain a lot of insight, a lot of strength, a lot of gifts also on a spiritual level, and a maturity, a certain spiritual maturity, which is the step out of the Hangman. That helps us also to transform on a deeper level. And this would be the next card after the Hangman, number 13 in the Major Arcana, which is the Death card. So this is a picture where it shows that things are resolving through our own understanding of where our limits are, and how much we are able and willing to handle. Higher consciousness. 9 of Wands in the reverse. Well, we might not just yet feel like we fully integrated this experience or these experiences, but we do understand that we want to, that we have to. With the 9 of Wands, in the reverse, we might be in a situation where we think or feel like that these past experiences have done more harm than good. We might have a little bit of a hard time drawing the strength out of these experiences, or finding our trust again in what's coming. But I think this is we're very aware of that as soon as the 9 of Wands is in the reverse in the higher consciousness position, because we do understand that we do have to take our time, or to give ourselves time to integrate this realization and to learn from it with the Page of Swords here. So now what are we moving towards? Beautiful. 10 of Pentacles. Love to see that. It seems like we've learned that we have to go through these type of testings of our own limits to be able to build the life that we want to build. The Ten of Pentacles is really the life we want to build, the life we want to create, the life we want to live also with our surroundings, with our loved ones. I always like to say this is the perfect life design. On a smaller scale, it can be, you know, just finishing up a project. It doesn't have to be like this huge life event or this huge vision for your life. It can just be also something that you just want to finish, something that you just want to complete, something that you want to produce and have the result. And it can be a project, it can be something that you're working on, but it's most of the time working on something that materializes as the coins or the discs here. And the pentacles, they speak of earth energy, which is materialized energy. And with the Ten of Pentacles, we're really at the end goal of something that we want to build. And it seems like we're really going from the 5 to the 10 here with this knowledge that we are accumulating right now about where are our limits, how am I even getting myself into a situation here where I don't realize that I'm restraining myself through taking on too much. That's what's really getting through here for me. And therefore feeling maybe not accomplished or not having enough. How can I learn from these moments? And how can I integrate them? Which is, I think, now the task to be able to build this end result that I'm envisioning and to really produce that end result that I'm envisioning here. So yeah, nice, interesting. For me, it seems like a project. I don't know, maybe you have a house project or some domestic project going on. This is the vibe I'm getting, but it of course could be different for anybody. So how do we see ourselves in this situation? Maybe a little unsure. Yeah, I mean that it's very, very synchronistic, this reading, because we do have a world card in the reverse. And it is also, I think, a realization that we are kind of going through this last step into this new level of experiencing things, and we're still in the process of taking that step into this new reality, which is the world card. When she's upright, then she's stepping into this new level of experiencing life. And when she's in the reverse, I often think that we understand this last step sometimes takes some time. Like it's like a birthing process into something new, and we are just taking our time, or it's a little bit of a tough moment to get through the tunnel into this new life, really, because when the world card appears, then we are really stepping into a new life. And this is kind of the last push, is how I feel, to really arrive at that point where we have the last strength, which is also the Nine of Wands in a way, finding that last push, that last strength, that last breath to really get through this last difficult stretch to the end goal, which is the Ten of Pentacles here, the end goal. Very beautiful. So strong indication of don't give up now, you know, don't give up now. You're pretty much there. It's just the last push. It's like a birthing process, and it's the last push. You can do it, even though you feel like you can't, even though you feel weak, even though you feel like the things are not working out or things are not showing up the way you want them to show up. It is the last push. So outside influences. Also, it seems like you've been working very, very hard to arrive here. Well, outside influences. There might be people surrounding you. It could be a feminine energy that are not super happy with what you envision for yourself and they might react a little dramatic to it or towards it. It seems like jealous energy to me with this Queen of Wands in the reverse. She can get quite dramatic when she cannot have a certain thing or be part of a certain thing. Maybe you are working on something and somebody can't be a part of it because they're just not very compliant or hard to work with. I had the same thing going on in another reading. Wait a second. Not sure which reading it was, but we did have a Queen of Wands in the reverse, also outside influences, and this can be very dramatic, but we also have to consider that now we have the Sun in Leo, so this is a Leo card, and we have Leo going retrograde, I think Mercury going retrograde in Leo, or Venus, I'm not sure. There are some planets going retrograde in Leo, and that might be, you know, just bringing some dramatic energy. But the Queen of Wands in the reverse, yeah, she's hard to work with because she has a strong ego, and when she's in reverse, then she might push, or she might play little tricks, or she might sabotage something out of jealousy or out of insecurity or out of, you know, her ego going overboard. So don't get too distracted by that, and don't take on also the responsibility of fixing that, because with all these wands here, I feel like we might have even, you know, tried to fix other people's problems or situations, and it's kind of not our responsibility anymore. So yeah, what's the fear? The Hierophant. Interesting. Living what, or practicing what you preach, living also your spiritual belief systems out on an everyday, having a spiritual practice, really doing the things you're believing in. And sometimes we do fear that because it might as well just work, you know. And then what? Then what? And sometimes it's really the fear of completing something, because then there is some kind of hole or some kind of void after that, when we're like, oh, now I'm having all of that, like I'm completing this, I'm accomplishing this, what now? But it doesn't matter with the Hierophant, because the Hierophant has a much more spiritual way of building. So it's not so much about, it is about the results, but the results show much more on the inside, and he does have the knowledge and the wisdom that he knows how to build a system of belief that is stable and secure, where we can fall back on within ourselves. And this is of course more on a spiritual level than on a worldly level, as would be the Emperor, for example. So yeah, maybe you want to think about spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, maybe even studying scripture or studying theory, because the Page of Swords is very good with studying theory as well. So maybe there is some interesting books you can read right now about spirituality, religion, etc. That would be very helpful, I think. All right, so key card, which is the card that is connecting to the whole reading. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Very similar reading to Virgo, I feel like. First of all, with the Four of Swords in the reverse on the bottom of the deck, I feel like there is a strong need to get more rest and to get more downtime in, which might feel a little difficult right now to find the space for that. But the key card here indicates that we still cannot skip this station of the Nine of Pentacles to get to the 10, you know. And the Nine of Pentacles is really finding our own worth, our own independence, our own confidence again when it comes to feeling grounded, feeling accomplished, feeling secure, and feeling like we do have everything that we want and we actually worked for it. So we don't want to skip this part. We don't want to skip the part where we think about how can I really step into that independence and that confidence so I can, in the next step, share that also with other people, because this 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles combination indicates for me that with the 9 of Pentacles, we're standing in our own worth. We have everything we need. We're very independent. We know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to be disciplined to get results. With the 10 of Pentacles, we are wealthy enough and abundant enough to share that with our environment, to share all the resources we've managed, we've accomplished, we've accumulated also with our environment and with the people we love also. So this is, I think, now just a moment where we need to find back to our own confidence and independence so that we can actually go out and give as much as we want to give, because I think there is a need or a want to really share and to give, and maybe we feel like we can't do that right now because we're just like plain and easy overworked. So yeah, rest and spiritual practices, that's my quintessence of this reading. And interesting that I say quintessence because the Hierophant is also the number 5, and quintessence is also indicating the number 5. So yeah. All right, the Sagittarius, love this reading. Thank you so much for being here. Please check out the description box. You find everything down there with the cards I'm using and how you can support this channel. Please like, subscribe and comment, and please come back next time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon and talking to you soon. So goodbye and have a great August.